But first, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings, it doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friends Kirk Elliott Precious Metals today. Goldwithjustin.com. Kirk and the team going to walk you through what they're doing, whether you're a seasoned pro when it comes to buying precious metals or you're just getting started. Call Kirk and the team today at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900, or go to Goldwithjustin.
Live from high atop Monroe Center in downtown Grand Rapids, we're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Yeah, welcome in, folks. Holy smoke. Things are really starting to heat up weather-wise. That in like a lion, out like a lamb. Boy, I think that's going to ring true this year. Speaking of the storms, we'll go over some of the damage that we've seen here in West Michigan and throughout the Midwest, actually, in the next hour or so. We're also going to talk about what to do, what to not. We had a massive, while I was on the air yesterday, a massive, almost huge chunk of a tree come down right in our backyard yesterday, and my wife goes, did you see this? I go, no.
News, weather,
Thankfully, nobody was hit.
And the biggest stories of the day.
And nothing either.
About what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
Well, we'll tell you how to make sure that you're keeping an eye out, especially for some of that damage we had. Not much wind this last time around, but definitely the hail. But you put those two together and the water, all of it. Our good friend Ruth Max of Ada, Nate Versus, will be joining us a little bit later on today. James Dixon coming up on the program, as well as we dig into all the stories and more big, massive news when it comes to oil. Cha-ching, those gas prices, we'll keep an eye on them as well. Coming up, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage, Dave Galloway and the team ready to help you, whether it's buy, refi, home equity, line of credit. They've helped us do all three, and we've saved thousands each time. And we'll reach out to those guys today so they can make sure that you're well taken care of at HHMLending.com. First story up on the back today, Michigan Attorney General Dennis Nessel ending her prosecution. I'd say persecution, literally the political persecution of those individuals, the alternate electors back in 2020. You remember these folks, and of course this is completely legal to do. It's happened a number of times in history, who were there in case questions came up. They were there to present alternate electors for the 2020 election. A case that was so riddled with holes in it that a judge ended up laughing out loud in court, throwing the whole thing out back in September. She won't follow it up.
Number two.
In a major escalation, we continue to follow the latest on this. U.S. forces eliminating 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels, according to the U.S. CENTCOM. And by the way, that's big talk right now. It's going to the Strait of Hormuz there, what those oil tankers will be able to do. And, you know, the president laying down the law, saying don't mess with these ships, or you mess with the bull, you get the horns. In fact, they targeted 16 of those ships, took them out. We got video of that, too, which is wild to watch. The operation showing that video, precision strikes coming amid heightened tensions in the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, good news as well. President Trump just announcing the first U.S. oil refinery to be built in 50 years. And why is this such a massive? It's drill, baby, drill. It's exactly what he promised to do. It's the story that is going to keep oil prices low, not just now, but into the future. It comes with a $300 billion price tag investment and help from an Indian energy firm, Reliance. Historic $300 billion deal, the biggest in U.S. history, massive win for American workers, they say. Energy and the great people of South Texas, according to the president in his statement.
Number 3.
A top DOJ prosecutor saying that hundreds, in fact, hundreds, maybe tens of thousands of non-citizens on voter rolls, dozens illegally voted. That's the ones we know of. In fact, that one from China here in our own backyard, we saw this take place, last election, 2024. The only reason we know that he did vote is because he admitted it. He actually admitted the whole thing, turned himself in. Otherwise, we never would have known. By the way, that's why I say it's happening here in Michigan, too. Macomb County Clerk Anthony Ferlini finding 640 non-citizens summoned for jury duty. By the way, it's the same pool they pull from for voters as well. So the questions then, again, these people, only reason they knew about these people is they turned themselves in. They essentially said, look, we can't serve. We're not citizens here. So despite what you might hear from folks like Tanya J. Powers, I heard that this morning on Steve's show, I go, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Not widespread. Well, how about 640 of them signed up to vote in Macomb County alone? Now, that doesn't mean that they are voting, but it does mean what Jocelyn Benson, the most lawless Secretary of State in the history of this state, allows that. Matter of fact, encourages that to happen. The judge says she's broken the law over and over and over again. And she says, oh, you know what? Better to ask forgiveness than permission. That's kind of her way of moving about things. It's all of this boils up to the need for the SAVE Act, folks. That's why don't let anybody talk you out of it. Like Tanya J was attempting to do today. It's obvious. And the math is simple. 80-20. That's what we're looking at. 80% of Americans believe that you ought to have the ID to vote. It's just ridiculous to think otherwise. It's an 80-20 issue. It's common sense.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Yeah, we'll dig in on the SAVE Act and the latest with Thune in the Senate, where that goes on the way. Bob in Grand Rapids up first this morning on the phones at 616-774-2424. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, brother Justin. This is your retired Navy, highly conservative guy. We haven't called because we spent 2 months, December, January, got back on the 3rd of March in the free state of Texas. My daughter lives in Kingwood, which is Congressional District 2. Dan Crenshaw, I heard he got dumped. Someone beat him in the primary. That doesn't matter. But I have some information that I got from a dear friend in Connecticut. She researches everything. And I just want to take about 5 minutes because I know others want to call. It's about the oil production in the United States and different things. So I'll start now, okay?
Yeah, give me the headline, Bob. I don't know if we can spare 5, but we'll do our best. Go ahead, my friend.
I'll try. I was born in New Jersey, so I'll try to be like. The headline is about accurate data released by our U.S. Energy Statistics for crude oil production since September 6, 2023, where the U.S. gets its oil. I'll go right now. U.S. states, number 1, Texas, more than 1.8 billion barrels of crude oil produced, actually 42.4% of total U.S. productions. 2, New Mexico, more than 57.4 million barrels of crude oil produced, or 13.2% of the American total oil. North Dakota, more than...
All right, Bob. Bob, I gotta stop because otherwise we're gonna get highly into the weeds and the numbers. But what I hear you probably trying to say is we get most of our oil from right here in America.
Yeah, North Dakota, Alaska, Colorado.
Yeah.
trying to be brief. Sorry, Justin.
No, that's okay. We just can't go through all the numbers because we're gonna have our numbers are gonna drop. So your point is that we essentially the America shouldn't be impacted highly by what happens in Iran. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's correct. And it's coming down to 80. I heard last night on Joe Pags, 82%, $82 a barrel now has come down.
Yeah.
But the market likes to play games. I was in the financial world, and it's a commodity, and most people don't know it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But anyway, we the only thing we get from the Middle East, we get a little from Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Well, Saudi Arabia is not. Neither one of them are a problem. Iraq is a little close, to that business. But enough said. And interesting. I'll close with this. Remember during the pandemic, how high was gasoline per gallon then?
Yeah, Bob, you must have missed yesterday. We went all the way through this. You're exactly right. Yesterday, I got a memory on my Facebook that showed up. It showed how much gas was, and it showed this little Amish buggy. And a couple inside the buggy says, "Hey, if gas goes up to $5 a gallon, I'm going to switch over to the Amish buggy." Well, that's how high it was just a couple of years ago. Needless to we don't want to forget that. So anyway, your point is well taken, and I appreciate it. By the way, welcome back, Bob. Appreciate you. Thank you.
What administration was running the country when all that happened?
Exactly. Thank you, Bob.
Listen, God bless you. I know you have a new book you wrote out. Could you send that to me sometime?
Absolutely. Stand by. Hang on. Get Bob's info. He just got back. He's trying to catch up. I love that guy. Hey, listen. His point is, we'll have to give you credit for this. We do get a lot of our. Now, here's the problem: is the markets. It's a global market, so it is a global commodity. But he's right. Since the president came out the other day and made the commitment to secure things through the Strait of Hormuz, we got $86 a barrel on the WTI crude. Brent crude is at 90. It'll jump around, and I've heard some analysts say that they don't think the price of gas at the pump is going to go down too much because we're getting into the summer blend here in a moment. But I do. I think it's going to drop a little bit further. It always goes up and down in Michigan. It does that weird sort of jump back and forth. But at the same time, I think that it's far too high. It's more because of the fear, and I think some of these folks gouging. Like we saw yesterday, there was a gas station on the other side of the state charged $4.30 a gallon. That is insanity. Now, I understand you need to be able to convenience and things like that to charge whatever you might want to charge. But at the same time, I believe there's a thin line between taking advantage of people and making a profit. But at the same time, you think Attorney General Dana Nessel's going to get involved there? Probably not. Probably let that fly is probably what she'll do. I don't know. But to Bob's point, I'm not worried about it too much. We'll keep an eye on those gas prices. Want to talk to Save Act here in a couple as well. Thune, what he's up to, what you need to know about, and then make it local, baby. Make politics local again. James Dixon with some great points about this race for governor and some of the other races that are taking place here in Michigan, why they're so important, and how they're shaping up. That conversation continues. Why it matters more, I think, maybe even more than 2024 for us right here in Michigan. We're getting back down to it, folks. Don't go anywhere. Back right after this on West Michigan Live.
Midwesterner this Wednesday, March 11th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. The Macomb County Clerk finds 640 non-citizens summoned for jury duty in 2025. Hundreds flagged in this investigation, and some of the individuals admit they are not U.S. citizens and therefore not eligible to serve on juries. It's nothing to be proud of as her term comes to a close. Add this to Democrat Governor Whitmer's legacy. A new study finds that Michigan is second to last for income growth among all states since 1970. And Michigan Attorney General Democrat Dana Nessel ends her persecution of 16 Michigan Republicans who backed President Trump in 2020. She's opting not to appeal the case that was left out of court back in September. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Everyone,
All right, welcome back in, folks. The behind-the-scenes live stream rolling strong this morning. Appreciate you being here. Click share if you're watching over on Facebook. Help us break the algorithm. Bookers, we need your help this morning. And even if you don't watch on Facebook, but you have a Facebook account, we need your help. They have severely throttled our page in the last week or so. I don't know why. Something must have rang an alarm somewhere. These people are getting too much truth out there. I'm finally out Facebook censoring, Sherry says. Yeah, you were dealing with it yourself. Anyway, help us share the broadcast. Go on over to that little part where you can just click the share button on this broadcast and help us get the word out. Over on the VIPs local this morning, Greta, good to see you. Say hello, Sue, Amando Markemi. Good to see you, too. Appreciate, Mando, for the heads up on that yesterday, on that tree situation, man. Got some calls out. Got some folks coming out to take a look. So you guys are going to be at the top of the list here as well. Let's see. Patriot Dean is here, too. Anybody else I need to say hi to? Well, let me just make sure. Drop your name in the chat there if I missed you. IPV over on Rumble. Trish, Gouda Lady, Julianne, Jen Lynn, Sheila, good to see you. Tree Frog, and many others. And the Bookers, Terry, Sherry, Bruce, Lori, Bunny, thank you so much. Annie, always a pleasure, guys. Jason, Cindy, and many, many others. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. Back on the air momentarily. Stand by for news.
Wood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
that's autolaw.com.
Still dealing with some flooding here in some areas in West Michigan. We've got some of those reports of the hail that came down yesterday. Wild, too, the wind as well. Take a look at what that means for some folks and damage to your home. We had a massive limb come down yesterday as well. We're getting some of that. Nate versus Roof Max Ada will join us a little bit later on with some tips on how to deal with all of that mess, the headache, the cleanup, and then hopefully it doesn't become too much of a headache. James Dixon joins us coming up at 9:35 too. Thinking about how politics are getting local again. Make politics local again anyway. Worry about what's happening in your own backyard. Fight those fights, the ones that need to be fought. And yes, that's the answer to all of it, really, winning in 2026 and beyond. All right, now John Thune and the Save Acts. Of course, he's the Senate Majority Leader. By the way, look at this. Elon Musk, Thune needs to sing a different tune. He posts this over on X, and it's a photo of Thune. Well, it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. And he's got this big, long, elongated, lying nose, like Pinocchio. Thune is lying. Current Senate rules do not make Save America Act passage impossible, is the article. Well, if you haven't been paying attention, Thune's basically come out and said, we can't do it. We don't have the votes. There's just no way to get this done. I know the president thinks it's important, and I understand, but, we just can't do it, and it's just a problem. And, well, he's almost like he's like carrying water for Schumer. He's supposed to be the Senate Majority Leader for the Republicans. And there's some reasoning behind why they're not moving forward on this. He says they're powerless. I that's not the word I would use for
Run a risk of being on the
spineless. Maybe this is
side of President Trump, and you're resistant to this talking filibuster, tying the Senate in knots for weeks.
Oh, we got the spinning wheel of death. Here we go.
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it. But that is just a function of math. And there isn't anything I can do about that. I mean, I understand the president's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do.
Does he understand that, though?
Well, we've conveyed that to him, but we will continue to make that argument because I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is about the votes, it's about the math. And I'm for better or worse, I'm the one who has to be the clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here. And so we'll continue to convey that. And I think that we're going to have the fight on the floor. We're going to vote on this. We're going to put it up, and we'll give the Democrats the opportunity to cast their vote on whether or not they think non-citizens ought to vote in American elections.
So what he wants to do is he wants to put Democrats on record without actually putting this thing up because it's not going to get, they don't have the 60 the way he wants to do this. They don't have the 60 to do it. They're not going to get rid of the filibuster. And so nothing's going to move. Now, this is a real problem. It's an 80-20 issue. It's an obvious, clear issue. The American people, and they know because they've asked for this, but the American people want this done. There's just no other way around it. They want it done. They think it's clear. But this is the thing about the swamp and politics and the rest of it. They always find ways to sort of muddy the issues. They always find ways to sort of muddy the whole deal. And look, 80% of the American people think you ought to have an ID if you want to vote. And that's pretty simple stuff. And it's already the law that you cannot be a non-citizen and vote. Only citizens can vote in these federal and state elections. So this is already obvious. It's already common sense. But some people like Thune saying, no, there's no way we can do this. You've got to be. I mean, what year do you think it is? Who do you think you're fooling? I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening on it. Of course, that's Thune in the Senate. They're asking folks to call. In fact, we got some numbers posted. We'll make sure we get them posted in the stack too, but they're up on the X page right now where you can call and ask those folks whether you believe that'll work or not. That's a whole nother question. Procedurally, yeah, there's some question. I heard Glenn talk about this yesterday, whether the senators want to do this or not, because it would require people to be there on the floor during this whole filibuster process, and the Senate would have to be open the entire time. Boy, that wipes out their vacation time and everything else. Now you know what it's impossible. It's impossible if you get my trip to Cabo.
Breaking down the story. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Win access for you and 3 friends
to be at our 2020.
All righty then, folks. We're rolling full speed ahead. Facebook acting really weird. I don't know about you. Have you seen this? It's acting really strange. I was just trying to share something here. And I noticed we had a bit of an error on my page. Now, that might be what's causing all the shenanigans. That might be the issue. Let me try and see if I can get to it from this area. Yeah. It's like it wants to load, but it can't. It just can't load. It's like, no, not today. Not today. Hang on. Maybe this will work. Sorry to be so inside baseball on this now. Okay, there we go. Got done what we needed to get done. Oh, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's saying something. So I click out of what I was doing there on Facebook. And over here on the Detroit Snooze has this article posted. What are the warning signs of colorectal cancer? And they've got like a blow up. This is what I imagine. I guess like a blow up colon. A museum or somebody, a hospital or somebody. I don't know where this is that people are walking through it as a hallway. Imagine scrolling past this before you've even had your first sip of coffee in the morning. Unbelievable. Detroit Snooze. What? What's the point, people? What is the point? Holy cow. Ay. All right. Let's show you some of the gas lines in China right now. By the way, this whole thing with Iran, and this was a good point that I think Bob tried to make earlier. The whole thing with Iran, and particularly what was the issue of going in and dealing with those folks, because yes, it's the nukes. Yes, it's the human element side of things, but you want to know the real truth of what's going on behind the scenes? It's this. It's because China gets its gas from Venezuela and Iran. I think like 80-90% came from Iran. Well, not anymore. You're watching our lines to get gas in China. Gas lines in China right now. Look at that. All going into the gas station there in China. That is incredible, folks. Now, listen, again, Bob made the point, and I think this is interesting. America gets its oil from America. That's why Drill Baby Drill was such a big part of what we were doing, the strategy, what the president was trying to accomplish. And then cutting off the head of the snake. This is verified footage, according to Grok, by the way. Extensive nighttime queues at Chinese gas stations in cities like Nanjing and Chengdu, triggered by a 695 yuan ton gasoline and 670 yuan ton diesel price hike effective March 9th, amid global oil prices surging to $97 a barrel due to U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict that began on the 28th of February. This echoes U.S. gas shortages during the 1973 OPEC embargo in 1979. This is putting the strain on China. You can't invade Taiwan when this is going on. U.S. pump prices rising 10% this week to about $3.80 a gallon. Is that average? Strategic reserves and domestic output prevent lines, contrasting China's import reliance. Plus, the biggest part is the domestic output, as you just heard. I mean, that's where our gas comes from. So, anyway, that's that. I mean, that's pretty wild. Probably the most obvious piece for folks that aren't paying attention. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Brian says, I remember the gas lines back in the early 70s. Yeah, that was probably a pain. Too early for my memory. But I remember hearing the stories. Incredible stuff. Stand by for back on the air in just moments. James Dixon joins us, coming up in just a matter of 60 seconds or so. Stand by, folks. Back on the air. If we had more refineries, gas would be cheaper. Good point, Brian. We've got one more, at least in the pipeline. The first one added in the last 50 years, with a $300 billion investment from an Indian energy company firm named Reliance. President Trump just announced that yesterday. We had at the top of the show. It'll be in South Texas, and yeah, I agree. We ought to add more. We ought to add more. Anything that we're reliant, by the way, on anyone else or any country for, we've got to cut. We got to cut that garbage. We got to cut that nonsense because that gives them control over us, and we've seen how that worked back in 2020. That's no bueno. All right, folks, back on the air. Stand by. Here we go.
Information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Hey, that gas is bad here. Just showed the behind-the-scenes live stream. Gas lines like the 70s here in China right now. China. So you wonder why all of this is happening and why we're doing what we're doing and what's happening in Iran. Yes, the nuclear threat. Yes, the humanitarian effort to help free those folks there. But China, please make no mistake, folks. China is at the heart of it all. And I've talked about that at great length. We don't need to beat that head horse now, but just another example of it as we're showing it. And if you want to see those, you can see them. I'll put it up on the stack today at justinbarclay.com when we share those stories each and every day. First, thanks to the folks at the Good Feet store powering this show today. Just got back from the free state of Florida where things are incredible. It's wild to see what it's like living a red state, like a fully red state. It really is. It's really different. But, we had a great time. It is a vacation like no other. The first that we've taken with our girls since they've been like real vacation, Got to do the swimming, got to go to the beach, do all the fun things that you get to do. And, of course, it was their first time in the free state of Florida, first time on an airplane. And I got to tell you, all of it feels so great when you're doing it in comfort and with confidence because you can. The folks at the Good Feet store make it possible. Those personalized arch supports can get you through whether it's work or play, whether you're on your feet all day and then you get home and you really want to get into some of the more fun things when you get home. We're just trying to keep up with your steps like your New Year's resolution said. The Good Feet store can help you do it. And like I said, in comfort and with confidence. Go to the Good Feet store today on 28th Street. Right in front of Costco there or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's. And they'd be happy to help you at the Good Feet store. All right. Well, it is probably, as I mentioned before, this is the biggest, for Michigan, for the state of Michigan, election we've had in my memory. I believe 2026 is going to be like for the state of Michigan what it was for the country in 2024. And you know how critical it was. I posted something the other day. I said, can you imagine? You just can imagine what things would be like right now. I thank God every day. Just think about this. What would it be like if Kamala Harris was a president? It's startling. You don't even want to think about it. But that's what 2026 is going to be like. Can you imagine what it would be like if Jocelyn Benson were the governor? I mean, even worse, more extreme, more radical than a Gretchen Whitmer. And you've seen all the damage she's done in nearly 8 years. James Dixon joins us right now to talk about those races, how important they are in 2026 here in the state of Michigan, and why it's so important to make politics local again. A couple of candidates are doing just that. James, welcome in, sir. Appreciate you taking the time today.
Hey, good morning, Justin. Great to hear your voice.
You too, man. So things are heating up. We saw one major moment, a couple of them really, but one big one yesterday that got shared out. And I did get to share some of this with our folks that listened to the after show yesterday. It's a school, maybe you could set us up here, but it's a school board meeting and a candidate for governor who happens to also represent that area as their congressional member makes a bold statement there at Rochester Schools. John James is at it, and man, was that wild to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Justin, what happened is there's a school board member in Rochester, a woman named Carol Beth LeCouey. She informed the public. She heard something and said something. There was an Oakland County countywide millage in the works. And so that was what they're trying to do is pass this huge millage that would increase the property taxes on your home, and they want to do this on the August election. And it should be very telling that what got Carol Beth in trouble is not opposing the millage, but simply informing the public of its existence, that this was coming down the pike. She broke the news before they wanted the news broken. And as a result, her colleagues censured her. They stripped her of committee assignments. Now she can't even get routine information anymore, all because she told the truth about an action of government.
Wild to watch. And by the way, you just can't imagine saying the quiet part out loud. This is what they did. Here's a bit of the speech, what he had to say, and I can't play all of it because it's about 3 minutes, but I'll put a link up so that people can go and hear this. But I thought he did a very good job.
In the Army, we had a saying, mission first, people always. You cannot accomplish the mission working against the people you serve. That's exactly what's happening in this school district. Members of this board, thank you for the time. I'm John James, West Point graduate, Apache combat pilot, Iraq War veteran, father of 3, running for governor of Michigan. I'm here as a dad and as your congressman. This is my district. These are my constituents. And what's happening in Rochester is exactly the reason why I'm running. I want to speak directly to the board about Trustee LeCouey. What Carol Beth LeCouey did took courage. What I am not seeing out of this board here today. School officials briefed you behind closed doors, handed you a message to sell a tax hike to voters, and told you to stay quiet. You said no. You wrote the truth. And for that, the board censured you, stripped your committee assignments, adopted a written gag rule, and silenced an elected official from speaking freely to the public she represents. They silenced an elected official for telling the truth.
Wild to believe it, but here he is showing up, and I think a lot of people applauding what he had to say.
Absolutely. I think there's been a clamor for John James to show up, and not just to show your face. I mean, people expect that out of someone who's running for governor, and kind of the reputation's been the opposite. But also to show up in a service role. He's wanting to show up to help, to use what power and influence he has to bring eyeballs to a situation that the school board wanted to keep hidden. And so, the cool thing I thought to me, and the really smart thing, is John James has left a big question unanswered, right? Outside looking in, question anyone would have is, who would want to leave a city like Washington for a city like Lansing? Who would want to leave President Donald Trump's inner circle to be the governor of Michigan? Like it's almost unheard of outside of Jim Blanchard. And so why would someone do that? And I think what John said the other day and how he showed up and kind of the power of his presence answered that question.
Yeah.
John, basically, the real power and the real problems are all at the state and local level, and that's where his talents are best used, not in a ceremonial position in Washington.
Making a good point, making politics local again. That for focus, James Dixon with us. There's been another couple of pieces of this. Have you seen these candidates stepping up? Another one is the data center conversation.
Absolutely. You had Tom Leonard, this guy is a former Michigan Speaker of the House. So he's in private law these days, but even if he were not running for governor, it would matter what he said as a former House Speaker. And so Tom Leonard shows up in Saginaw Bay talking about a data center that they're trying to put in and how that's going to affect energy prices. And so just like that, what you have is two contenders for governor who are serious guys, both of them, taking a local approach to politics, using the power they've amassed in Washington in the case of John James and Lansing in the case of Leonard to bring a spotlight to local issues where the real levers of government are pulled. And so what this shows is a Republican Party that's focused on Michigan stories and Michigan issues as opposed to talking about Iran, Venezuela, Minnesota, all these far-off things that don't really move the needle here, right? Unless you're changing the price of Faygo in Michigan, you're kind of wasting our time. And so these guys are talking local. And if Republicans stay local and talk about what happened to Michigan and who specifically did it, and all those people are Democrats, that to me is the pathway to success in November.
It is so critical. 2026 is such a big year and a big election cycle for Michigan. I don't think it's just really it's possible to overstate that. James Dixon talks about this, making politics local again. You can see it on the T-shirt right there on the X profile picture. You can hear more about it as James talks about that on his podcast. Where can folks follow you, and what are you looking into right now, James?
Yeah, I'm at Down I-75 on X, James Dixon Podcast. What I'm really interested in, and we're going to do something about this, is our governor, Gretchen Whitmer. She wants to hop out onto the national stage, but I'm going to assert that Gretchen Whitmer is the tallest midget in national politics. She looms over Lansing. Nothing could be bigger than Big Gretch. But anytime she steps outside of it, she stubs her toe. And because she has such an amen corner in the Michigan media, it's left her uniquely unprepared for the national stage in 2028.
Yeah, it really has been interesting to watch, especially what just happened overseas when she was in Europe trying to make that case. And
embarrassing.
It kind of was. It really embarrassing, not just for her, but also for folks here in Michigan watching along. Hey, always a pleasure, my friend. James Dixon, Down I-75 over on X. Give him a follow. Talk soon. You got it. God bless. More coming up in minutes, and nothing more local than the storms we've had. I can tell you in the last couple of days, this weekend and then last night, cleanup is in progress for a lot of huge branch come down in my yard. Thankfully, they didn't hit anything. But what about the hail and some of the wind damage? You may not even know what could have taken place and what it did to your home. He's taken a look and found damage actually when we didn't know it was there on our roof. Roof Max Aveda, our good friend Nate Versus joins us coming up after this. Back in just moments right here on West Michigan Live. Don't go anywhere. We've taken a look at the markets this morning. We did get some inflation, some CPI numbers, a little bit of an uptick, nothing really to write home about. Dow sliding a little bit this morning on the markets as oil prices move just a notch higher again with the Iran conflict. You're going to see some back and forth. You're going to see that roller coaster ride, and we know we're in store for one. The folks at guardingyournestegg.com, Mike Lester and the team, but they're no strangers to this entire process. Whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road from now, they want to get you where you want to go and when you want to get there. That's why approach like my team at guardingyournestegg.com. Reach out today, find out how they can help you. Go to guardingyournestegg.com or call them at 616-661-1000. 616-661-1000. Guardingyournestegg.com, but do it today.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, March 11th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. It's another part of Governor Whitmer's legacy. A new study finds Michigan coming in second to last for income growth among all states since 1970. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel ends her persecution of 16 Michigan Republicans who backed President Trump in 2020. She's opting not to appeal the case that was literally laughed out of court back in September. And the Macomb County Clerk finds a whopping 640 non-citizens summoned for jury duty last year. Hundreds flagged in this investigation, and some of the individuals actually admit they are not here legally and therefore not eligible to serve on a jury here in Michigan. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
I'm back to doing what I love and
All right, folks, rolling right ahead. Fastest hour in radio is flying by. And let's do real quick. Let's test our connection here. It looks like Nate is on with us now. Hang on. There we go. Good morning, Nate. How are you, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Hey, thank
Can
you.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, you look good. You sound good.
Perfect.
We will be ready to rock here probably just like 2 minutes from now. I'll be right back with you.
Sounds good.
You got it. Folks, questions for Nate, roof issues. He can answer them all. Roofsaversmi.com is the website if you want to reach out. And we'll get rolling. Hang on 1 second. Back on the air. Did you see? Oh, yeah. We're talking about gas in California. I saw you guys talking about that earlier. So Exxon wants to move out of New Jersey to Texas. That's kind of interesting. Chevron, Newsom's adversarial agenda will cripple California. I think that's kind of wild to watch as another piece of this whole puzzle. Hey, don't forget, folks, more coming up. In fact, I want to let you watch a little bit more of what John James said. We have more of the candidates on the way this week. Reaching out to Carla Wagner. I want to hear her thoughts on Florida moving to the property tax, get rid of property tax. She's been fighting for that here in Michigan. We'll hear from her, I'm sure, in days ahead, and some of the others.
School officials secretly encouraged a young girl to adopt male identity without ever telling her parents. That family had to hire a lawyer just to get answers because the school decided it knew better than them. I have 3 sons. I think about families like that each and every single day. If it can happen in Rockford, and if it can happen in Rochester, and if it can happen in this board meeting, it can happen everywhere in this state. Every morning, moms across the state pack a lunch, zip up a coat, kiss their kids goodbye, and trust the adults in the school are going to take care of them. 3 out of 4 of those kids in this state cannot read at grade level. Michigan has fallen to 44th in the nation for literacy, and instead of fixing that, school boards like this one are more interested in silencing truth tellers and making decisions that belong to parents.
That's pretty fiery. Hang on, back on the air here, folks. Stand by.
Accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Lots of thunder and lightning, both last night. Some hail. Seeing different size gauges on this. I think I saw our good friend Bill Steffen talk about marble size, but in like Illinois, they had grapefruit size. We saw that tornado go through Kankakee, and of course, tornadoes here on the weekend. We had wind and massive storms coming through, and just in the first couple of weeks here, and just days of March. Keep up with these stories and more. Our good friend Nate Versluis is with us right now. From Roof Max at Ada, and look, I had a massive branch fall in my yard last night. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything yesterday, or anyone. But there's a lot of damage being done to roofs right now. People don't know about. And the reason we know this is Nate came out and took a look at our roof last year, and we did the Roof Max treatment and everything. Before he does that, he looks at the roofs, wants to make sure he can repair things, and actually did that. For free of charge when we did that treatment. But Nate, this is something that folks are taking a look at, I'm sure, wondering about today. Any damage from hail or any other things?
Yeah, I was out in Hudsonville last night for the Rockford basketball game, and I missed the big hail by probably 20 minutes on our way home. I was seeing pictures on Facebook of 2-inch, bigger than golf ball size hail out in Jenison, Hudsonville area. When I got home to Rockford, there was about dime size hail. And that stuff, the dime size probably isn't going to cause a ton of damage. It really needs to get to be about a quarter before it really starts denting your soft metals and damaging the roof. But hail's a major one. Wind is a major issue. If your roof's not sealed down well and the tar strip starts loosening a little bit, you're going to get some flappers. And when you get sustained high winds, it can cause some serious damage on your roof.
What do folks need to look for? I mean, obviously, it's tough to get up on the roof and do some of that digging yourself. Obviously, you may see some shingles or things like that were ripped off in the yard. There may be some visible signs. Aside from that, you just call somebody like you and say, Nate, come out and take a look.
Yeah, it's really important to get your roof inspected at least once a year or after these major storms. You can sometimes see that a shingle's missing. You can see it's raised a little bit. If it just looks off, or if there's a bunch of debris up on your roof with sticks and crazy branches up on your roof, that's a pretty good sign that you've had some major storm come through. So get somebody you trust up on your roof. I don't know that I would trust a guy that's knocking on my door telling me he's going to get me a free roof because he's done so many in the neighborhood. That's kind of a red flag. Just get somebody local that you trust. Even if it's not me, just make sure it's somebody reliable.
Yeah, what are those things that folks should be looking for when they were talking about reliability on who's going to take care of that?
Get on Google and look at their reviews. You're going to know, you're going to get that ick feeling if you're talking to a guy that's talking faster than you can comprehend. They're smooth, but they just want to get on your roof and file an insurance claim. Not every roof needs to be replaced if there's damage. If we want to continue to have somewhat normal insurance bills, we've got to stop defrauding the insurance companies every time there's a storm too. I'm going to get some flack for saying that, but there's guys out there that are replacing roofs that don't need to be replaced.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And it drives your bill up and everybody else's your insurance premiums while we're at it. Nate can take a look at your roof. You may think your roof needs to be replaced, but it may in fact not. He may be able to save it and get some more life out of it. I know that's what you do. We don't have a lot of time left, but tell us a little bit about what you guys are up to at Roof Max Aveda, roofsaversmi.com. Yeah,
really, our goal is to keep the roof on the house as long as possible. There's just no point in throwing away a good roof. If it's not a problematic roof where you don't have any leaks and it still looks good, it's just getting old. I know a lot of the insurance companies are having an issue. If your roof is over 15 or 20 years old, they're telling you need a new one. It's not always the case. It should depend on condition, not on the age. And what we do is we keep the roof young. We do a treatment that it soaks into the shingle and rejuvenates it and makes it flexible again. It rehydrates the oil in the shingle. So you could take a brittle, snap in half shingle and make it bend like new. And that's really the important part is flexibility. It's got to be able to expand and contract. Just like the roads, if it can't do that, you're going to get cracks and potholes in your roof.
Yeah, just a fraction of cost of a new roof. They can do that treatment. Make sure you get maybe decades left on that roof. Always a pleasure. Thanks for giving us a time this morning. If folks want to find out more, maybe you want to reach out to Nate and have him take a look at your roof, roofsaversmi.com, or call him today at 616-393-7710. That's 616-393-7710 or roofsaversmi.com. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure, Nate.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. God bless. More folks with the Glenn Beck program coming up next. You got lots to talk about today, yeah, and we'll get into the after show, the show after show. The fastest hour in radio just flies by each and every day. We're grateful that you're here with us for us. Catch up more live and archived on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. Make it a great one. God bless.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids.
All right. There we go. Hey, Nate, thanks again. Always a pleasure, sir. And folks have any other questions, you can reach out. Obviously, a good chance to have those conversations today. It's a little rainy. Probably won't be up on any roofs today, Nate, but you never know.
I don't mind getting up on the rain. If it's pouring, maybe we'll take a minute, but if it's just sprinkling, we'll hop up there and make sure it's good to go.
There you go. Well, thanks again for taking the time. We'll talk soon, man. Appreciate you.
Talk to you later. Thanks.
You got it. All right, folks. We're rolling right ahead, full speed, and let's see. Got to do the after show, and got a couple of quick things. Maha Missy's going to join us. A little bit of a Maha health report coming up in just moments. Let's see. Yeah. Click a few buttons and we'll get this party started. Here we go. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Welcome into the after show. It's the show after the show. That's why we call it the after show. Never a dull moment, never enough time to get to it all. That's why we're giving the people what they want, what you asked for, you demanded it, and so here it is. More from the after show. Here in Michigan, making big headlines. I didn't get a chance to play some of this for you yesterday, but John James running for governor, making a splash, a fiery speech there at the Rochester School Board meeting.
Across the state, pack a lunch, zip up a coat, kiss their kids goodbye, and trust the adults in the school are going to take care of them. 3 out of 4 of those kids in this state cannot read at grade level. Michigan has fallen to 44th in the nation for literacy, and instead of fixing that, school boards like this one are more interested in silencing truth tellers and making decisions that belong to parents. That trust is sacred, and I'm going to be protecting it. This is very simple. Kids cannot consent. Parents have a right to know. And if it's not acceptable between adults in a workplace, it's not acceptable between adults and someone else's child in a classroom. My record speaks for itself. The Federal Parents' Bill of Rights, the App Store Accountability Act, the Federal Scholarship Tax Credit, I've delivered. Now Michigan needs that same commitment from this
30
governor.
seconds.
To this board, I know I can count. I want every parent in this room to know that I see you and I will be fighting for you. I have a long memory, and I won't forget the cowardice that I've seen here today. Better schools, stronger family, a government accountable to you down to the school board level. That Michigan is coming, and it starts right here with every one of us. God bless you. God bless us.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing up.
That was quite the moment. And again, I thought maybe you should see the whole thing. But things heating up in that governor's race. Probably going to be one of the most critical this year as we dig in to how big 2026 is going to be. Speaking of a governor's race in Minnesota, we know our good friend Mike Lindell is running. You can help support Mike and this program each and every day. We're on the air. Look, this is what I suggest. Whenever you need something, like, for the home, think about it. You need a pillow or a mattress or, Mike's even got coffee and things now in the My Store. But, like, whenever you need something, go see if he's got it first. Use our promo code Justin. Go to mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin. Not only are you going to help support and fuel Mike in the fight, but you'll help support our program too. And that makes every bit of the difference. Keep us on the air and keep us going strong. But all of these stories that you need to hear and got to get the word out on, of course, the truth of what's really going on behind the scenes. We pull the curtain back, show you how the sausage is made, and Mike helps us do that. MyPillow.com, mystore.com/Justin. Do it today. Coming up, Maha Missy. We told you this a little bit earlier that it's going to be a big one today. How about this? The CIA is facing furious backlash after a hidden document with potential cure for cancer is officially declassified after 60 years. So you're telling me they sat on a potential cure for cancer for 60 years? This is incredible. We'll talk about that with her today and dig into the latest Maha update. Now, is a lot of conspiracy theory talk as of lately. And I, in fact, saw something yesterday that may be my new favorite conspiracy theory because it's so wacky, but it's also so believable. I can see this. I can totally see this happening. And it actually has a lot to do with what's happening in Iran right now. Okay, so did you see there's a new Ayatollah? We told you this, right? It's to meet the new boss, same as the old boss, essentially. This guy, this is the son. This is the this is the son of the old boss. Now, I saw this conspiracy theory. By the way, do you know the Ayatollah was on X or Twitter at one point? In fact, there was a moment where they There was a moment where they canceled Trump, right? The president of the United States. They kicked him off, but they let the Ayatollah on. Isn't that wild? Anyway, the Ayatollah, the new guy is the son of the old guy. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and this will be why, and maybe you can follow the logic here, but it is kind of funny if you can. First of all, I'll show you this. Now, this is AI. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. This is AI. I wouldn't lead you astray on it. It'd be obvious when you see it, but this is President Trump showing the new cardboard cutout.
And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh. Of the new Ayatollah.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Now, why is he doing this? First of all, that was kind of a parody on when he showed Laura Ingraham was it the Declaration of Independence that he's got hanging up in there? I think that's what it is. Anyway, it's a parody of this. When they announced that he's the new Ayatollah, this is also AI from what I understand too. I think, but he still has yet to show up. He has never appeared in public. They're going to show a picture of him. Now watch what happens next. You can't make this stuff up. Here he comes. Here's the picture. I'm going to make the announcement. Yeah, here it comes. Okay, so this was the official announcement. That's the official announcement. I'm sorry. Now I've got to give you. Is it AI? Let me find out. Yeah, I think it is. It is. I think, yeah, okay, it's AI generated. This is AI generated, they said. Okay, that's what I was saying. So the thing that you just saw was mocking. It was mocking the whole cardboard Ayatollah in the in the Oval Office, in the picture at the Oval Office of the White House. It was mocking this, which was also AI, but hilarious nonetheless. Take a look. So they had this cardboard Ayatollah. He's the guy. The guy still has yet to make. He has not made an actual public appearance just yet. Okay, I gotta set you up with all that to tell you that this is my new favorite conspiracy. This is just, and it's actually, it's, to me, I think it's brilliant. Like, if it's true, if it's real, this is brilliant. So there is a thought out there, and maybe I can get Grok to sort of summarize this, but there is a thought out there. Oh, they're calling Super Grok now. Let's explain. Let me just say, let's explain the conspiracy theory. We'll just call it the theory. How about that? The theory, because I don't want to throw it off here, that the Ayatollah is actually the new guy, the son of the old guy, is actually dead. He's not alive. And the theory goes like this, okay? And I'll just try to explain this to you. The new supreme leader of Iran may have actually been killed in the previous airstrike that took out his father and the rest of the 50 people that they. Now, why did they do this? It's actually kind of brilliant if it's real. They did this because They're getting them every single time they like announce a new one or like we got a new one. They take the guy out. So now they'll never be able to take him out because he's already dead. So really, it's just like a few people behind the scenes that are pulling this shit. Kind of like Joe Biden, if you think about it. Kind of like Biden having like a cardboard cutout. That's essentially what we're watching here. All right, let's have Grok explain it. Let's explain the theory that the new supreme leader in Iran is already dead. Let's see what Grok says about this. I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know if they're smart enough to figure that one out, but I've seen this thing flying around the internet, and it's got me chuckling. And I got to tell you, I mean, if true, like I said, I think it's kind of brilliant. Now, again, I don't know. And we're going deep. We're sort of deep into the conspiracy theory rabbit hole right now. We're kind of walking deep into it. But I don't know about you. I could see that. I could see that being a realistic, because again, he's yet to make any actual public appearance. And there's a good reason for that. If he does, he's toast. So I'm just saying. Sean says he doesn't trust Grok either. Well, Grok's just going to kind of explain it to us. By the way, it's taking it a moment to figure it out. So maybe it's not. Maybe we shouldn't trust it. I don't know. Terry. No, Diane, we're not listening to AI. We're just trying to give the background of it and see if there's anything that stands out, any extra to prove it or disprove it. Now, we don't have to take it into consideration. You can throw that out if you don't like it, but why not? You don't realize how much AI goes into the normal everyday, everything that you see. I mean, it is just incredible how much is being used. I mean, how do you? I might not even be real. Think about it. You see me with a cardboard cutout one of these days. You just never know. You just never know whether it's me or someone else. All right. So here's what Grok has pulled up. It's just a whole background on Iran's transition. Okay. The theory that the guy's already dead shortly after his appointment, a conspiracy theory emerged online. This is what we're looking for, by the way, is the history of it, which it can track on X. That's what we're looking for. Now, I can't tell you that. I mean, I have to do like really deep searches to try and figure this out. But this is where going to tell us where it came from. Claiming the Iran's new supreme leader is already dead or was killed soon after taking power. Proponents of the theory argue that the regime hastily named him as a decoy or distraction to shield the real power brokers, such as Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commanders, from further targeted strikes by the U.S. and Israel. See, that's brilliant. And it may be a little too smart to give them credit for, but they point the lack of any public appearances, speeches, or proof of life to since his announcement, suggesting the regime is buying time while concealing his death. Fueling the speculation are reports from Iranian state TV and international media indicating that the new supreme leader sustained a mystery injury around the time of his appointment, with some claiming he was wounded in ongoing airstrikes. Conspiracy theorists interpret this as code for his death, asserting that the regime would not admit it outright to avoid further destabilization. Some even draw parallels to historical tactics in authoritarian regimes where figureheads are propped up or postulated. Hey, how about the historical tactic where Biden was propped up for the last, I don't know how many years? Can we get Biden's head on one of these cardboard guys? Oh, goodness. Anyway, just a piece of the puzzle, just a piece of what is going on. Now, I also have some good news. Yeah, the cancer cure story. We're going to get to. We'll do some of that coming up here in just a little bit. Existing home sales posted gains. Obviously, we got some of that CPI, the inflation numbers that came out today, but we also see that U.S. home sales posted gains. We'll take that. This, I don't even know if I'm going to have time to like dive deep into this one, but this is another big one. This is another one. You know, they've discovered now all kinds of fraud in California when it comes, well, fraud in California, obviously, but this it comes to the hospice. We talked about this probably like a month or so back when we were talking about what's happening in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and those places. And said, whatever happens, well, you wait till you find out what happens in California. Take a look what they discovered. All right. So basically, what is happening here? The guy is going knocking on doors and he's finding that none of these places are open. Most of them say that they're out to lunch. Most of them say, hey, you can't come in here. You can't ask questions.
It's for my grandma because I'm trying to enroll her in healthcare. Oh, I'm not.
It's the exact same thing that happened in Minnesota.
Soliciting. I'm so convenient. Every possible healthcare need you could possibly need all in one building on one floor. Hi, could you help me with something? I'm trying so hard to get her some healthcare and no one will talk to me in this building.
In one of the buildings was an auto body repair shop. Now, I'd never seen an auto body repair shop on the second floor of an office building, so I decided to knock on the door and see what they thought of the dozens of hospice offices surrounding theirs. But when
this guy is nailing it, by the way. Sort of like the same as Nick Sorter.
I started asking the guy questions, it escalated pretty quickly.
Why are you taking picture? Why are you asking some questions?
They're all foreign, too. That's the other thing. They're all from someplace else. Anyway, this is just part of what is beginning to come out. I'm going to put this full thing on the stack so you can watch it. And you'll be able to actually see exactly what he's uncovering. Why is this massive? Because there is incredible amount of cost, and the federal government pays for a lot of this. When it comes to insurance fraud, this is another big part of this. Hospice care where nothing is actually being done. Make this make sense. Another massive discovery, and it'll go a long way as it comes to fraud. But California, I think you're beginning to just scratch the surface of the ice there on the tip of the. Maha Missy is with us with another big story today, and this is probably one of the bigger ones we've seen in a long time. But this really, whether you got your tinfoil hat on and you need to loosen it up or not, this is another one of these stories that folks have been sort of ringing the alarm on for years. Maha Missy with us right now. This is incredible if this turns out to be true, but it's being reported by lots of credible folks that the CIA is facing backlash now after hidden document with potential cure for cancer has been declassified now after 60 years. So you're telling me this is how we're supposed to take this, that they've had this information for 60 years. Yeah. How many people have died in that time frame that their lives could have been saved? Let's talk about what's in the document, what it actually says, and Maha Missy, what you take away from this today, as folks are just digging into it now.
Well, I think it's one of those things, like you said, conspiracy hat, tinfoil hat, whatever. We're waking up, and some have Some have woke up a lot sooner. Some are like on the journey right now. But listen, this what hair that came out from 60 years ago doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all because if we look at what makes money is cancer. Cancer makes a lot of money, right? And I hate to say that because if I were in charge and if you were in charge and if the majority of your listening your listenership was in charge of this cancer, cancer and medical school. And I mean, we wouldn't be in this situation because we are good people and we don't want people to die from cancer. Good people, I mean, you got to go back to the money part of everything. I mean, do I believe in what they're saying? Yes, I do believe because cancer and parasites, what they've learned, they respond differently to, let's just say, drugs, chemicals, a stimulus. Cancer and parasites respond differently. So if we can kill off parasites, basically what they're saying, we could kill off cancer too because they kind of function in the same lens. And this was discovered, this was from 60 years ago. What we have been talking about, what I talk about all the time with my company, is that 100 years ago, Dr. Royal Rife killed cancer dead on the spot using frequency, using Nikola Tesla style frequency. So in 1931, the world knew about cancer being destroyed, and that was suppressed. They burned everything he owned down to the ground after he was healing everybody. And now here we see somebody else. Again, cancer can be killed off and killed off multiple ways. Not just one way, but there's multiple ways because that's my opinion. Sorry.
No, but it's interesting to think that this type of information has been sort of quietly hiding behind the scenes for how long, they've had access to it. So basically what the news story says, a 1951 declassified CIA document summarizing Soviet research on biochemical similarities between parasitic worms and cancer tumors, suggesting compounds like Myrcil D could target both by disrupting shared metabolic processes such as anaerobic respiration. The archival report, originally classified during the Cold War for intelligence on Soviet biomedical advances, has resurfaced online, fueling public outrage and conspiracy theories that the U.S. agencies suppressed a potential cancer cure to protect pharmaceutical profits. They would never do that. That's just unthinkable. Experts clarify it offers historical insights rather than proven treatment. Modern parallels include off-label use of anti-parasitic drugs like ivermectin, which we've heard a lot about, fenbendazole for cancer, supported by preliminary studies in some of the research that's been done. And then you talk also at great length, Missy, about some of the cures with frequencies.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, no one was given the owner's manual of how the body works. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, oh my gosh, I could be on here forever. But yeah, the cancer is able to be treated naturally. Your body, if you know how the body's designed to work, it can be taken care of. Why? Because God's a good God, right? And the thing is, people, I lost my mom. My mom was my best friend, and I'll start crying. But my mom died a wicked death to cancer. She started out with a medical model, and basically with the treatments that she did, it was not looking very good, and she decided to go the naturopathic route, and it did give her an extra 5 years, thank God. But the medical model had already basically destroyed her body, and that's sad. The other thing that people need to know is that cancer cells can grow if your body has a high oxygen content. I mean, cancer cannot grow if you had a petri dish with some cancer cells in it, and then you closed it and you just put cap oxygen in it. It's the oxygen kills cancer. They can't replicate. I mean, so it's been people that have been looking like me. I've been this naturopathic way for about 27 years now, and people like me can find the information, but people like me don't have billions of dollars to go on TV and convince you that, listen, your body is able to heal, just follow this. I don't have the billions of dollars. Why? Because probably I was out racing for a cure years ago and donating lots of money to find a cure for cancer. $51 billion is given every year by Americans to find a cure for cancer. It's just like, make sense of that. And here's a stat. Watch this. The global oncology market is valued at $194 billion in 2024. I'm reading this stat. And is projected to skyrocket to over $440 billion a year by 2033. The US is spending roughly $200 billion annually to take care of cancer people. And what did I find here? Oh, and I don't know how much it actually costs to treat a person that has cancer. I'm like, follow the money. And here's the thing. Do you know who coined the phrase conspiracy theory? CIA. The CIA is the one who coined the phrase conspiracy theorists. Go figure. I'm like, I'll put my hat on. I proudly wear my hat.
I got my tinfoil hat on too. Some days it's on a little tighter than others. This is something we're not going to walk through this and have all the world's problems solved on this on day one, but there are more and more people that are waking up to it, as you mentioned. In fact, in the chat here, somebody actually talked about fenbizidol and ivermectin cured my cousin's cancer at stage 4, Bunny says. And so you're seeing all folks looking into alternative methods, and I think there's a lot of people waking up to some of those issues. Speaking of waking up,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you this story. I don't know. This may be even too new for you to have even seen just yet.
Okay.
But this is going to knock your socks off, Missy. Check this out. There's a new study. Northwestern University did a study. It's their 2026 study on targeted memory reactivation.
Oh yeah. Hello.
Sound cues during REM sleep can incorporate specific concepts into dreams, aiding problem solving by boosting creativity, and lucid dreamers is shown. It also says the TMR therapeutic potential, such as PTSD. So it talks about what they've done. Now, this all comes from a claim that was made just the other day that your cell phone, by the way, when you're sleeping, you want to get your cell phone as far away from you as possible. And I started doing this not too long ago. But it makes a big difference. And I don't care if it's hard to get a hold of me, honestly. But they've found out now that your phone being plugged into you next to you while you're asleep, that somehow your phone can communicate with you and your brain, and vice versa, back and forth in some sort of weird way. You're being monitored as you sleep, and as that post and the in fact this information just walked through the piece of this, and I'll put all of this up.
Yeah.
But we're finding that, and I think somebody like you, who you really deal with a lot of this when it comes to frequencies and some of the other things that are being used. But yeah, there's the graphic. Scientists prove you can plant ideas into dreams to help solve problems you failed while awake. I know that sounds great. What else can they do?
Hey, you know what? Do you want me to tighten up my tinfoil hat a little bit for you?
Okay. Do you sleep with it too? Do you sleep with it while you're...
Well, the thing is, literally, when we sleep at night, this is something that's crazy. So I'm going to dive into that because I can kind of get an idea of where they're going. When we sleep at night, believe it or not, when our eyes are going back and forth, that's called the REM sleep, right? When our eyes are going back and forth, do you know what? I didn't know they were doing it because I'm asleep. I don't know my eyes are going back and forth. But this is so fascinating. When your eyes are going back and forth like that, do you know what they're doing? It's filing away the day's memories and is putting it in categories along the way to resolve your day, which is key. But the thing is like when you have a moment in your day that your brain just doesn't know how to reconcile it. Let's just say something serious happened to you, something that crossed your boundaries, right?
Trauma.
Your brain doesn't know where to file it. And so what happens is, this is crazy. It just it puts it on a shelf and like, I'll get back to it. Guess what that starts? That starts the filter of now how you perceive life because it was unresolved trauma. So there are people that are doing things like called EMDR. I saw this years ago. People thought again I was crazy, but guess what? People have been doing. People that have PTSD, just write this down. EMDR therapy. And it's a therapy that allows you, crazy enough, you're thinking on a moment that's your trauma moment, and you're going to be guided by a therapist, and you're just going to follow tinfoil hat here, folks, but it works. You're going to follow this a light that goes back and forth like this. It's forcing your eyes to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Anyways, long story short, it's resolving the trauma. They've been using this now with our veterans. They started out with our veterans about 12 to 14 years ago now. And about 80% of our veterans that have had massive PTSD that they cannot function in life are leading normal functioning lives, no longer alcoholics, no longer addicted to drugs in 8 to 10 sessions.
I've seen this, and there was a place here locally that was doing some of this. They had done some work with kids that had some ADHD. So there were some autism cases, and there was some PTSD with some veterans as well. It was based here locally. And one of the things I saw is they put on like a headset with sound, but also you watched a screen, and there were things that happened on the screen. They saw it was able to help people with anxiety and depression and all kinds of. So that is a piece of the good news. So we can talk about the bad stuff too, right? Which is, hey, probably shouldn't. And this is kind of a no brainer, but like probably shouldn't sleep with that phone right next to you at night.
Correct. We have a biofield. I mean, listen, we weren't given the owner's manual. If we had an owner's manual, we would see that we've got a biofield. We are electrical, we're energy, we're frequency, we're vibration. I mean, right now, there are frequencies traveling through my home right now that are radio stations and TV stations. I can't see them because I'm not turned into them. I'm not tuned in. But if I turn on my Wi-Fi, you know how I'm saying there are signals. Our body also has signals. So I could probably see, I haven't seen that article yet. I'm going to go look at it. I can see how the frequencies probably coming off the phone, they're going to be used for good in this situation. Let's just say that instead of bad. But I can see how frequencies would probably come in and hit certain pathways in the brain to be able to help resolve trauma. I can see that.
It's all things that I think people didn't think about maybe on a bigger scale until recently. That is part of the Maha movement and part of the good news. We got to watch these things, both good and bad. It's just like any other tool. It can be used for good and bad, for good and evil.
Good and evil. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right
And
now-
our food chain, Justin, maybe next week we can talk about the food chain, because I did a little deep dive over the weekend on what is 2027 going to look like when you go to the grocery store. Let's just say OMG. So I can't wait to share with that, because the landscape is changing. It's changing. And thank God, I have my next door neighbor baby that I was looking at the other day, and I wanted to start crying. He has a chance at having a healthy life. He's 9 months old. He's not going to have to go through what my kids went through. And, it's a new day. We're not going to have to worry about things like cancer and stuff like that once we clean up our food supply, get rid of the fluoride, like it's I mean, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, there's so many good things that are happening. That's a really good idea. Good tease for next week. What is the grocery store going to look like in 20?
Oh, so good. Let's just say Twinkies won't be around. Let's just say that.
They said those things would last through a nuclear annihilation, but
But the thing is, they can't deconstruct it and reconstruct it healthy. It can't make the cut. It's gone. It's gone. Some are going to be gone.
Strap in. It's all coming. By the way, find out the latest on my Maha mission personally. I'm down almost 30 pounds myself. My wife is feeling good too. And it can't be today. And I don't know if you know the full story on this behind the scenes. We're going to have to talk about this at another time. Speaking of frequency, my wife and Missy, I'll call you later to tell you more about this. But what she's been doing since I think Saturday, with something else she's been dealing with, a frequency issue, and what she's been dealing with for like the last several months has been it's just been just a headache. I'll just tell you that. I mean, it's been horrible to watch what she's gone through, but the relief she's had since Saturday, I can't wait to talk about this, a whole nother can of worms. But folks, it doesn't matter. If you're looking to lose a few pounds, go on spring break, feel a little bit better as you move into the warmer months. You want to move more. You want to be with your friends, your family, your kids, your grandkids, whatever it might be. Maybe you just decided it's time to take your health back because you're part of that Maha mission and the revolution with us. Join me. Go find out what I'm up to. Healthwithjustin.com. You won't be alone. You can call 269-964-4044. You're going to find out all the other folks that have joined in. You can see the numbers don't lie. The before and after photos are incredible. And it's all at healthwithjustin.com. Look at the countless other folks that have joined, been a part of the program as well. And it just massive results, folks. It's almost indescribable. But our good friend trucker Randy up north on the radio, Steve Gruber as well. We've all jumped in and joined the fight with Maha, Missy, and Charity and the folks with My Pure Health Solutions. So do it today. Go to healthwithjustin.com to find out more. And I can't wait to tell you, Missy, the fantastic results
Good.
that Lizzie's had just since Saturday alone. It's been incredible.
It's oh my gosh. I just talked to a 69-year-old. One of my clients, you're 69. Again, people are all over the United States. I mean, again, thanks to technology, I can take care of you wherever you are. If you're not living a vibrant life, if you're on medication, if you have inflammation in your joints, the inflammation's on your organs, if you're not feeling vibrant, call me. My website, I have a hard time explaining quantum biology on a website, folks. Okay. But I do a great job when I talk to you on the phone. I bring it down to a 5th grade soundbite nugget, so much so that you're going to paradigm shift. Light bulbs are going to go off. But I talked to a lady the other day, 69, 71 years old. I'm like, how did it go with your program? I'm here to see her on the other end of the whole thing on the phone. She lost 30 inches in 60 days with me.
Wow.
And she's just like on cloud 9. She's off all medications. That's a vibrant life. If your life's not vibrant, call me. You deserve to have it. We need to explain to you how incredible your body is and show you that there's a natural way to turn it all around, because I'm an all natural approach. I have to be, because that's what I believe in.
We had Carol in the chat say she's lost 17 pounds in 2 months. Congratulations for you, Carol. And then a guy, I don't remember your name yesterday, sir, but you told me 9 pounds in just a few days on the program. That is another great results and incredible. We appreciate folks sharing that with us. Folks, if you want to reach out, she'll answer your questions. Just love to have a conversation with you about these things. Call her today. Maha, Missy, and the team standing by, like the old operators are standing by. Well, it's her. She's going to be there. And Charity and some of the other folks there that will answer your questions. 269-964-4044 or healthwithjustin.com. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And all the hard work you're doing to make America happy again, and each and every one of us.
That's right.
Maha, Missy, you're a patriot.
God bless.
You too. Back, folks, with more tomorrow. Right here with you. Make it a great one. God bless.